On the vast battlefield of Mortal Kombat, the Netherrealm has always been a place where power and corruption walk hand in hand. In this video, we're ranking characters not just by raw strength, but by the true influence they hold within this dark realm, their relevance to the story, the impact they left behind, and the weight they carry in the franchise's mythology. Here, the Netherrealm isn't just a backdrop, it's a force that shapes destinies, transforms souls, and reveals who truly commands the shadows. And if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming videos. Kia is one of the most enigmatic figures tied to Mortal Kombat's Netherrealm, first appearing in Mortal Kombat mythology's Sub-Zero as a central member of the Brotherhood of Shadow. Like Sareena and Jataaka, she was shaped under the direct influence of Quan Chi, but always displayed a more aggressive and devoted nature, especially in service to the fallen elder god Shinnok. Her role inside Shinnok's fortress went far beyond that of a simple assistant. Kia served as the guardian of one of the crystals that granted access to the throne room, a position she held thanks to Quan Chi's absolute trust in her and her refined martial skill. Unlike Sareena, who showed internal conflict and flashes of humanity, Kia remained focused, cold, and efficient, wielding her boomerangs with almost supernatural precision. She was the Brotherhood's armed enforcer, tasked with eliminating intruders and keeping order among the demonic ranks. Even after being defeated by Sub-Zero during mythologies, her loyalty to her masters never wavered, and her return in Armageddon reinforces this almost fanatical devotion. With Liu Kang's new era reshaping reality, Kia's fate is largely unknown, but her history suggests that any future appearance would likely portray her as even more determined, fully molded by the Netherrealm's darkness. Kia lands in 11th place because despite being loyal and dangerous, her influence in the Netherrealm is limited. She follows orders, guards key positions, and reinforces the Brotherhood, but she doesn't drive major events or change the realm's direction. Her impact is precise, not structural. Jataaka makes her debut in Mortal Kombat mythology's Sub-Zero as the final piece of a dark trio forged by Quan Chi, a relentless assassin whose loyalty to the necromancer and the fallen elder god Shinnok is absolute. Her initial purpose is clear: guard one of the crystals that grant access to the throne room, fend off intruders, and carry out orders without hesitation. She wasn't created for doubt, only for lethal efficiency. In combat, Jataaka stood out for her blend of speed and power. Her sword fires energy blasts, and her strikes are described as faster and stronger than Kia's, making her the most aggressively combative face of the trio. Her warrior aesthetic, mixing tribal elements with demonic iconography, reinforces the idea of a Netherrealm-born fighter trained exclusively for war. Although she is defeated by Sub-Zero in mythologies, she doesn't vanish from the franchise. Jataaka reappears in material like Armageddon's Conquest mode and gains new life in animated adaptations. Her role in Mortal Kombat Legends Cage Match puts her directly against Johnny Cage and Ashrah, expanding her presence beyond the games, showcasing both seduction and violence, and proving that even minor lore characters can steal the spotlight. In short, Jataaka is the perfect example of a supporting character with untapped narrative potential, created to serve, yet rich in design and execution, ready to be reimagined whenever the universe needs a fast, merciless blade. Jataaka takes 10th place because although she's more aggressive and powerful than Kia, her impact on the Netherrealm is still limited. She fulfills her role as Quan Chi's warrior well, but she doesn't lead, nor does she influence the realm's structure. Her relevance is more combative than narrative. Sareena, who debuted in Mortal Kombat mythology's Sub-Zero, is Quan Chi's demon assassin, and the one who received the most spotlight among the 3 female characters introduced in that game. Her youth and beauty conceal her true demonic assassin form. This disguise was maintained through Quan Chi's magic, but after escaping the necromancer's grasp, she attempts to sustain it on her own. In the game story, her mission was to stop Sub-Zero from reaching Quan Chi, but after Bi-Han spares her life, Sareena sides with him and rebels against the Netherrealm's leaders. In Liu Kang's new era, Sareena appears as a cameo fighter, shifting between her beautiful human-like form and her true demonic version. complete with horns and a pointed tail. In this new timeline, we learn that she and Ashrah are sisters, and that Ashrah managed to escape the Netherrealm and Quan Chi's control. Her life's mission is now to rescue Sareena from the villain's influence, as it's implied that Sareena acts as a henchwoman because she's still under his spell. In Ashrah's ending in Mortal Kombat 1, 2023, Ashrah succeeds in capturing Sareena, and Liu Kang helps break the enchantment that kept her bound to Quan Chi. As a result, Sareena officially becomes part of Earthrealm's heroes. Sareena ranks 9th because, despite having a more developed and emotional arc within the Netherrealm, her overall influence is still limited. She stands out due to her rebellion and connection to Quan Chi, but she doesn't shape the realm itself. Her importance lies more in her personal journey than in her actual impact on the Netherrealm. Ashrah first appeared in Mortal Kombat Deception, and right away she stood out for looking like someone completely out of place in the Netherrealm. While everyone else there has that heavy, dark, monstrous aesthetic, she shows up dressed in white and gold, almost serene, carrying a glowing sword designed to slay demons. But that appearance is misleading. Ashrah is a demon. She was born and raised in the Netherrealm as part of an infernal order filled with rivalry, violence, and cruel missions. Her life takes a dramatic turn when she discovers the Kriss, a mysterious sword. This blade doesn't just kill demons, it cleanses the one who wields it. Each time Ashrah defeats a corrupted creature, her body changes, and she begins literally shedding her demonic form. That becomes her entire mission, to keep purifying herself until she can escape that hell. In the original timeline, this eventually leads her to Noob Saibot, whom she sees as the most corrupted soul possible. Eliminating someone so steeped in darkness would, for her, be the final step toward freedom. In Liu Kang's new era, her story follows roughly the same path, but with a different emotional focus. Now her target is Quan Chi because he keeps her sister Sareena imprisoned and exploited. Here, her journey becomes not just personal redemption, but a fight to save someone she loves. Even with these changes, the heart of her character remains the same. Ashrah is someone trying to rewrite her own destiny from inside the worst place imaginable. She doesn't wait for redemption to fall from the heavens, she carves that chance herself, strike by strike with the Kriss in hand. Ashrah ranks 8th because although she has a powerful narrative and a unique arc within the Netherrealm, she functions more as someone trying to escape it than as someone who shapes it. Her importance comes from her transformation and her battle against corruption, not from commanding or influencing the realm itself. Drahmin is one of the most disturbing characters ever introduced in the Mortal Kombat universe, and his existence perfectly embodies the grotesque nature of the Netherrealm. He first appeared as a playable character in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. As revealed in his Mortal Kombat Armageddon bio, before becoming an Oni, he was a ruthless warlord in Outworld, responsible for countless atrocities. His death brought no peace. For his crimes, he was condemned to the 5th plane of the Netherrealm, one of its most brutal levels. There, his body and soul were tortured for all eternity, with no hope of redemption. Centuries of suffering eroded his mind, destroying any last trace of humanity and giving rise to the deformed, irrational being known as Drahmin, the torturer Oni. His monstrous appearance reflects total degeneration. His body is skinless. He has an iron club fused to his right arm, a sword embedded in his shoulder, and he is constantly surrounded by a swarm of rot flies, insects that symbolize his spiritual corruption. The most unique element, however, is the face of Kun Lo, a mask that briefly calms his rage and grants clarity in battle. Without it, Drahmin succumbs to animalistic violence driven purely by destructive instincts. During his imprisonment, Drahmin formed an alliance with the Oni Moloch. He eagerly accepted Quan Chi's offer, freedom from the Netherrealm in exchange for protecting the sorcerer from the specter Scorpion. Together, Drahmin and Moloch brutally assaulted Scorpion whenever he attempted to reach Quan Chi. Drahmin ranks 7th because despite lacking strategic intelligence, his existence as a tortured Oni makes him a brutal force within the Netherrealm. He doesn't rule or plan, but his presence shapes important events, especially his role as an executioner and hunter of souls, serving as one of the most feared monsters in the realm. Moloch is the raw embodiment of uncontrolled power within the Netherrealm's hierarchy, a colossal, three-eyed Oni created to crush, terrify, and symbolize the realm's absolute brutality. His debut in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance presents him as a sub-boss and Drahmin's partner, both freed from eternal torment after accepting Quan Chi's offer: protect the necromancer from the specter Scorpion in exchange for a chance to escape the fifth plane of hell. This alliance establishes his narrative role as a monstrous bodyguard, driven more by instinctive ferocity than any sense of strategy. Visually and mechanically, Moloch was designed to intimidate. His signature weapon, a massive iron sphere attached to a chain, reflects his fighting style. Slow but devastating, with wide-range attacks that hit with crushing force. His presence always carried the aura of an uncontrollable beast, dangerous to enemies and allies alike, which is why his usefulness in the story is always balanced by the difficulty of containing him. Over the course of the franchise, Moloch's roles became smaller but never forgotten. In Mortal Kombat X, during one of Quan Chi's intros, he is seen holding Moloch's severed head. In Mortal Kombat 11, Moloch's corpse and his iron orb appear in the Goro's Lair stage, a grim nod to the fate of Oni in the Netherrealm. In the animated film Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge, he appears in the Crossroads fighting Scorpion amidst dimensional chaos. These appearances reinforce his symbolic importance. Moloch remains one of the darkest and most visceral representations of what the Netherrealm produces when human cruelty is twisted into demonic monstrosity. Moloch is the pure brute force of the Netherrealm, a colossal Oni whose size and ferocity make him nearly unstoppable in physical combat. His loyalty to Quan Chi and his role as a demonic enforcer place him above common henchmen, but his limited strategic intelligence keeps him from ranking higher. Scorpion is arguably the most iconic representative of the Netherrealm in Mortal Kombat, not just because of his spectral appearance, but because of the very essence of his existence. Before becoming a vengeful entity, he was Hanzo Hasashi, a skilled warrior of the Shiraya Ryu clan, devoted to his family and the honor of his lineage. His transformation begins with tragedy. Deceived, betrayed, and brutally murdered, along with his wife and son, Hanzo's soul is sent to the Netherrealm, a realm where pain and hatred shape everything that exists. From that moment, the Netherrealm stops being simply the place of his death, but becomes the cradle of his rebirth. There, Quan Chi recognizes the destructive potential in this soul consumed by rage and injustice, and, using Netherrealm sorcery, strips Hanzo of his humanity and resurrects him as Scorpion, a specter fueled by the need for vengeance. This transition isn't sudden. It is shaped by the Netherrealm's nature itself, which absorbs extreme emotions and transforms them into destructive power. Scorpion isn't just an undead warrior. He is the personification of torment, a spirit kept alive by the constant fuel of suffering. His connection to the Netherrealm also reflects in his abilities. His hellfire attacks, his ability to teleport and traverse dimensions, and his superhuman resilience are direct manifestations of the infernal energy that defines him. Unlike other characters who merely visit the Netherrealm, Scorpion belongs to it. His identity, his powers, and his destiny were forged by this realm. Even in moments of redemption, he remains a being of the Netherrealm, not by choice, but because his very existence has been rebuilt by eternal flames. Scorpion blends supernatural powers with high-level martial arts mastery. His direct link to the Netherrealm and his ability to wield hellfire make him extremely dangerous, placing him above common enforcers and soldiers, though still below the great masters and gods of the realm.
Now let's talk about Quan Chi's Revenants warriors. In the second timeline, back in Mortal Kombat 9, we witness Sindel unleashing absurd levels of power on Raiden's warriors. She becomes so overwhelmingly strong that in less than 3 minutes, she wipes out nearly the entire group, killing several powerful fighters in the process, including Katana, Cabal, Smoke, Striker, Cyber Sub-Zero, Jade, and Jax. She's only stopped when the old shaman Nightwolf sacrifices himself, using kamikaze magic that destroys both him and Sindel at the same time. All the characters who died, including Kung Lao, who was killed by Shao Kahn during the second MK9 tournament, are later resurrected by Quan Chi in the Netherrealm, reborn as part of the Brotherhood of Shadow, and deployed as his enforcers during Shinnok's invasion and the search for the Jinsei. Another major warrior revived into this corrupted army is Liu Kang, who died in an accident during his fight with Raiden shortly before Shao Kahn's arrival in MK9. Of course, in Mortal Kombat 11, the timeline chaos resets everything at once, but it's worth noting that this squad of corrupted fighters gave Raiden's heroes serious trouble. For a period of time, Liu Kang and Kitana even rose to become the emperors of the Netherrealm after the deaths of Shinnok and Quan Chi. All these characters served with heart and soul twisted toward the fallen god, driven by a desperate thirst for vengeance against Raiden, whom they believed responsible for their downfall because of his timeline interference. The corrupted are warriors resurrected by Quan Chi, blending skill with dark magic. Individually, they're strong, but together they form a formidable force capable of threatening even powerful heroes. This earns them a high ranking.
Noob Saibot is born from tragedy and corruption. Before anything else, he was Bi-Han, the first Sub-Zero, a ninja of the Lin Kuei clan who was killed by Scorpion during the first Mortal Kombat tournament. After his death, his soul found no peace. Quan Chi, the necromancer of the Netherrealm, resurrected him as a wraith, a shadowy creature bound to the submundo. In this new form, Bi-Han became Noob Saibot, a being stripped of humanity, driven by hatred and the commands of dark forces. To be a being of the Netherrealm in Mortal Kombat lore means having one's essence corrupted by the realm itself. Noob is no longer a simple warrior of Earthrealm, but a specter who lives and acts in the shadows, aligned with cults and fallen gods such as Shinnok. His pitch-black appearance and shadow-manipulating powers reflect that transformation. He creates dark clones, warps between planes, and moves as if the physical and spiritual worlds are one and the same to him. Narratively, Noob represents what remains when vengeance and dark magic completely win. Not a man, but a cold presence of the Netherrealm. He isn't treated as an Earthrealm warrior anymore, but as a Netherrealm entity. Not by choice, but because he was remade by evil and now serves it. In Mortal Kombat 1 2023, Liu Kang's new era changes his origin compared to classic lore. Instead of becoming a Netherrealm wraith, in this timeline, Bi-Han's soul is stolen by Havoc, a titan from another timeline, who turns him directly into the Dark Enforcer Noob Saibot. In other words, Noob Saibot is no longer portrayed as an undead product of the Netherrealm, but as a direct creation of Havoc in this version of the story. This shift redefines both his origin and his purpose in the Mortal Kombat universe. Classic Noob Saibot is the personification of Netherrealm corruption. Transformed into a specter of pure darkness, he lost every trace of humanity and became an unrelenting weapon powered by hatred and shadow energy, placing him far above ordinary fighters and even most of the corrupted.
The greatest sorcerer, necromancer, deceiver, and manipulator in this vast and shadowy realm. The man with the mysterious origin, Quan Chi. He comes from the Netherrealm and learned very early on how to travel between realms without being detected. This allowed him to spend most of his life gathering powerful magical abilities from multiple realms. During one of these journeys, Quan Chi encountered the fallen elder god Shinnok, who had been banished to the Netherrealm after losing the ancient war against the gods ages upon ages ago. Being as cunning and opportunistic as ever, Quan Chi saw potential in this situation and approached Shinnok, negotiating an alliance to help him overthrow Lucifer, the ruler of the Netherrealm at the time. As a reward, Shinnok granted Quan Chi even greater powers, transforming him into an even more dangerous and formidable being. Over time, Quan Chi became involved in some of the most important events in Mortal Kombat's history. He was the architect behind the rivalry between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, assisted Shinnok in his war against the Heavens, formed a deadly alliance with Shang Tsung, and even helped orchestrate the assassination of Earthrealm's champion Liu Kang, not to mention his partial involvement in the return of Onaga and his army. In short, it's a villain resume with no flaws. In the most recent Mortal Kombat 1, 2023, Quan Chi appears as a DLC character, but he plays a significant role in the story mode. He effectively serves as a kind of additional boss, functioning as a sub-boss in the game. In this new timeline, Quan Chi was originally just a simple man destined for a quiet, forgettable life. But with the arrival of Titan Shang Tsung, disguised as Damashi, everything changed. That encounter pushed Quan Chi into studying black magic once again, turning him back into a powerful sorcerer. Quan Chi is the most cunning spellcaster in the Netherrealm, combining black magic, manipulation, and strategic intelligence. His ability to control allies and craft complex schemes makes him a formidable threat, placing him above all other mortals and revenants in the realm. Shinnok is one of Mortal Kombat's most iconic and overwhelmingly powerful villains, and although he wasn't originally from the Netherrealm, his ambition and destiny eventually turned him into the supreme ruler of this dark domain. In the beginning, Shinnok was an elder god, a member of the ancient divine pantheon, who sought to conquer Earthrealm. To make his invasion possible, he created a mystical artifact, an amulet capable of weakening the dimensional barriers between realms. However, his plans failed. Raiden and the other Elder Gods intervened, defeated Shinnok, seized his amulet, and banished him to the infernal Netherrealm. There he was tortured for ages by the realm's previous ruler, Lucifer. With the help of the sorcerer Quan Chi, who chose to free him, Shinnok eventually defeated the demonic sovereign and usurped the infernal throne. From that moment on, he reshaped the Netherrealm under his command, founding the Brotherhood of Shadow and leading armies of demons and wraiths, turning the realm into his personal dominion. Armed with ancient knowledge and vast magical power, necromancy, manipulation of darkness, the creation of demons, wraiths, and illusions, Shinnok rules the Netherrealm with absolute authority. Even stripped of his original Elder God status, his ambition and rise to power made him one of the most feared beings in the entire Mortal Kombat universe. In short, although he wasn't born in the Netherrealm, Shinnok used his ambition, cunning, and ancient sorcery to conquer the realm of the dead, transforming it into his dark fortress and ruling with an iron hand over demons, specters, and legions of evil. Shinnok is the absolute ruler of the Netherrealm, wielding ancestral powers and full control over demons and wraiths. His ambition, sorcery, and authority make him the most feared and influential entity in this sinister realm.